Alright, what we got here is a 2014 Sonata. I looked at it a couple weeks ago. It had a code for wastegate position sensor. I'm going to go ahead and scan it again and make sure it's the same code. I already picked up a wastegate actuator for it. So I'm going to hook up the voltmeter to this, scan it, and we're going to check the voltages again before I even take the other one out of the bag.
While he lay there, gathering strength, he saw Moroni standing above him once more, surrounded by light. Why did you not tell your...
Alright. Sonata 2.0. Yes. Let's just go ahead and scan. We'll code scan the whole thing. Okay, there we go. So we have our cam sensor code, or our cam sensor control position sensor code, and looks like zero codes in the whole car. Alright, this one, if we're getting small wires, because it centers the wire and then it makes it way easier to get a hold of it. So these are the ones I prefer, because I can just get down here. Okay, so like this guy, we need to check that wire. I can just pull it back, get it hooked in there. I usually give it a little squeeze up here, push the needle in. That up. That. Let's turn the key on. No key, I guess. Just push the power button. Push the power button twice where the ignition comes on. Let's see what we got. Yeah, see, now it's doing it. It's all over the place. Oh yeah. If I push it right here, it goes to 4.3. If I hold the rod down on the other end and cycle it, and push it from here, it goes to 3.8. So I'm adjusted there. If I push at it from this side, I go from this side, push it this way, and then come back here, push it back to the stop and hold it. I'm at 3.95. If I come up here, up to the other end, and push it, look what happens. The actuator is worn out. There it is. Now I can wiggle the shaft. I can just pull the shaft play back and forth and make that. It's inconsistent. I'm gonna go all the way open. I'm gonna go all the way closed and back open. See, now it's a 4. Do it again. See how it always comes back to this 4.63 on the bottom side? 4.26. 0.43. 0.463. That's just under a half a volt, but it goes to that every single time. I go back this way. Look, 4.25. 4.63 every time. 4.1, see? If I go up here and I push the shaft up or down, see how much it changes. To me, that's wore out actuator. And turn it off. Alright, here's the new one. And the razor knife out. Open this sucker up. The rod's already on this one. I'm curious to see if just installing the new one comes out in spec or not. basically show you what I was moving there. This is mounted this orientation. If we were looking at it, this would be the valve cover gasket would be here, and this would be looking at it from the firewall side. So if when I push it here, and this is the direction, maybe it's actually this direction. Yeah, it's actually this direction. So this rod end's nice and snug too. So this is the actual wastegate side. The position they wanted in to adjust is this all the way this direction. Now this shaft is tight. There's no up and down motion here. There's no sloppiness. The other one, I can actually wiggle this shaft. Well, it's basically the shaft there. There's play up and down, and when I wiggle that play up and down, that's what makes my voltage signal fluctuate. So every time this thing goes, I believe this is the open position. Not 100% sure which way is open or closed, but every time the computer comes back to this stop, because the lever action here, this starts getting worn out, it basically moves the stop point, and the play in the arm makes it get a different reading every time. So I'm gonna go ahead and swap this out real quick, and I'm curious if the factory settings on this are still accurate enough for the what I'm saying. Basically, if the inside of this valve has any wear that we would have to compensate here, which I have a feeling there might be a little bit. It shouldn't be as much as the other one. The other one was way off, and now that I adjusted it into spec, every time I cycle it, I get a different reading. So anyways, I'm gonna get this installed and let's see if it'll adjust. Alright, so basically unplug the electrical connector, and then those 3 bolts right there is what holds it on. Take these guys out. Got one more. Get it where we can see. See that? And that little motion there is actually, it's not turning the gear train inside here, but I'm sure it's wiggling across the sensor, because when I do this motion, that's when I was getting all the fluctuation between like 3.85 and 4.27 volts. But every time we cycle this the other direction to the stopper, you notice that it's much more solid down here. I'm guessing that most of this thing's motion is in between this position here and up here on this end stopper, they get wore out. This one, same thing, it's nice and tight. There's no motion there. Even the rod, there's the tiniest little bit right there, but it is so much tighter than this one. Let's shorten this rod just a hair and get it within spec. Three 8. Go out a half a turn. 3.9, 3.85. Let's tighten this and see what happens. Sometimes tightening the nut just pulls a little tension out of a little sloppy out of the threads. Let's tighten this. Push it to a stop. .496. Go the other way. 0.47. Alright. That seems better now that everything's all tight. I'll put the clip on and call it good. I'll turn the power off and see. Turn the power off and put it back together. And then we're also going to change this AC hose down here. That's all wet. We're going to change that wet hose on the high side. Okay, my phone was about to die, so I put it on the charger and went ahead and got that AC hose installed and got the vacuum pump started. So it should be ready to charge up now. Close the gauges. This calculation ends up 1.2 pounds. 1.2 pounds, 1 pound, 2.5 ounces. Now that's all the refrigerant I want to take out of this tank. Go ahead and close this. You don't want to take any more. So I know that my line and my gauges and the system was completely evacuated. I know I took exactly 1.2 pounds out of there. So now I cleared the codes, start this thing up. Foot on the brake. All right, let's turn on the air conditioning. Now this is how I get all the refrigerant. Basically, I want to shut this valve on the high side. Okay, I'll shut that. Remember, this gauge is off. So what I did there is I just disconnected the high side from the AC system. I'm going to open the low side here. And what this is going to do, it's going to take the liquid refrigerant out of the hose. This is closed. And this is closed. So I'm going to open this. And what this is doing is clearing the liquid out of this yellow hose. Now this is open. With this one, this is basically disconnected. So now we can open this one slowly, and you'll see it go here maybe. See it? So what we're doing there is we basically took all the pressure, all the liquid. So the car is now basically, we've put as much Freon into the system as we can get. Well, every bit of what we took out of there. And I always put it slightly to the high side of the capacity, that way I know there might be an ounce left in here, but it's nice and cold. Yeah, it's working really good. So, all right. So that's it. I'm gonna cap this up, and we're gonna see if we can get the drive cycles to set. All right, let's see where we are. Generic functions, readiness monitors. Okay, so basically, you gotta go drive it around and make all those gray hash marks turn to green check marks. So. Here we go. So, I've been driving around for a little bit. I need one more to check mark. I don't think they're gonna do it now. I got every one of them except those two. What I have had before, I've had it before on Hyundais where I drive them forever, and then as soon as I shut off and restart it, they clear up. So I'm gonna see what happens here. I'll shut it off. I'm gonna back out of this screen. I'm gonna open the door, close the door, that way it thinks I got out, and start it back up. Verify we have no engine lights. And then go back to monitors, and hopefully, if not, I'm just gonna go back home. Doesn't look like it. Nope. Alright. Oh, I guess we're going back home. We're gonna have to let it cool down and try it again. Almost made it back to the house. Decided to look literally at the red light around the corner from the house. Decided to look at the scanner, and the O2 sensor monitor cleared. So I'm going to turn around and go ahead and take it back to emissions. As long as there's only one not ready, it'll pass. So I'll go ahead and take this to emissions and get it done. Well, there she is. It's all compliant. That's a wrap.